Family kicked me out at the age of 16. 30 years later, they are begging for forgiveness. Hello, Reddit eyes plus here. So, I lost my mom when I was 12 to breast cancer. That just left me and my dad. It was a tough time, but we got through it together. When I was 14, Dad met and married my stepmom Ashley, who brought with her my stepbrother Mark, 14, and stepsister Emily, 12. I got along with Ashley and Emily really well, but Mark, not so much. He and I were always getting into arguments and fights. My dad kept telling me to give Mark a break because he had been the man of his house for a while, as if it wasn't new to me too. When I was 15, I met a girl at school, Lisa, and we started dating. However, Mark apparently had a crush on her and was mad that I asked her out. He started a fight over it, in which my dad had to intervene once again. Somehow, I was made to be the bad guy. One day after my 16th birthday, my stepmom was putting away my laundry and started yelling. My girlfriend Lisa was there, and we all ran thinking the worst. When we got to my room, my stepmom was holding several pairs of my sister's underwear, yelling at me about why they were in my drawer. I had no answer as I'd never seen them before. Of course, no one believed me. No matter how much I protested, Mark piped up, saying he always caught me staring at his sister, thought it was creepy, and once heard me say I wished I could marry her. Obviously, he was lying, but that was all it took. Lisa slapped me, called me a perv, and told me we were done before walking out. My dad grabbed me by the arm, threw me out of the house, and yelled that he wasn't going to put his daughter at risk from a perv. Not the word he used, but you get it. I banged on the door to be let in, crying and telling them it was all lies told by Mark. My dad, apparently having had enough, opened the door and shoved me to the ground, telling me to get lost. I told him I had nowhere to go, and he said that wasn't his problem before closing the door. I found myself on the streets with nothing to my name. I tried calling my dad's parents, but he had already called them, and they told me they wouldn't help a perv. My mom's parents had passed away before I was born. I lived on the streets for 2 years, doing what I had to in order to survive. No kid should have to do what I did to live, just saying. There were some really dark days. Lots of therapy later in life helped me with this. Shortly after I turned 18, I found a job working at a boxing gym, states away from where I began this horrible journey. I worked there for years, learning the sport, never gonna beat Mike Tyson, but I was good at it, which helped me with my hate and anger. One day, I met a new girl, Amy, 20, at the cafe down the street from the gym. At this point, I was 35. I know, huge age gap, but we just clicked. I don't believe in fate or soulmates or any of that stuff, but if there is such a thing, we had it. We dated for 2 years and then got married. Her dad, an electrician, hired me on afterward. I think it was mostly to know I could support his daughter and to keep me in check. He never said this, but as a dad, I get it now. 15 years later, we are still together with 4 beautiful daughters. I just passed my master's license as an electrician, thanks to my wife pushing me to get my GED. She has been my rock, my cheerleader, my overall support through this all, and I can't tell her enough how much she changed my life and how much I love her. Just this last weekend, I received an email from my stepsister. Not sure how she got my email address, but I know it isn't hard via the internet. Mind you, I'm now pushing 53, so it's been 30+ years since I've heard from any of them. It was a long email. Not gonna give you all of it, but the gist is, they now know what really happened. Mark, apparently busy drinking with his buddies, started bragging about how he set me up and took my girl. Yup, Mark and Lisa got married, all those years ago. They were all laughing, hoping I died on the streets, saying rude and vile stuff. Guess he forgot Lisa was there and she heard it all. She called my stepsister to let her know, and so Emily spent all weekend trying to find me. The email was long, but to summarize, they want to apologize face to face and make up for lost time. I'm indifferent to the idea. I have no ill feelings towards Emily, but with lots of therapy, I learned to let go of that hate and anger. I have all the love I need from my wife, kids, and in-laws. I'm of the idea of just deleting the email and moving on like nothing happened. My wife thinks I should at least respond, even if to say something snarky like, "Thanks for finally believing me, only took over 30 years. Did I mention my wife has a mean, petty streak to her? She's awesome." Emily's letter. This is your sister, Emily. As I sit down to finally reach out to you after what feels like an eternity, I would like to explain why. I understand if you choose not to read this, but I truly hope you will take the time to at least hear me out. First of all, I want to apologize for never taking the time to contact you before. I was misled by Mark and Dad, who constantly painted a negative picture of you in my mind. They filled my head and heart with lies and made me believe that you were someone you were not. For a while, I held on to hope that you would come back home, but as time passed and their words continued to poison my thoughts, I let go of that hope and allowed myself to believe the worst about you. It pains me to admit that I even started to hate you, despite the fact that, deep down, I always considered you a brother to me. I felt betrayed by the twisted image that was presented to me, and I regret not reaching out to hear your side of the story sooner. A lot has changed in our family since you left. I got married, and now you're an uncle. Mom and Dad are still together and are preparing for retirement. Mark and Lisa eventually got married, and they have no children. However, the truth that has recently come to light has shaken the very foundation of everything I thought I knew. On Friday, Lisa overheard Mark boasting about how he orchestrated the setup against you, how he manipulated the situation to make you look bad, and how he convinced us to turn against you to his friends as they all got drunk. They laughed about the pain he caused you and the lies he spread, all while belittling you in the cruelest and meanest ways possible, saying things like, "They hope you died in the streets." Lisa couldn't keep this bombshell to herself, and when she confided in me, my world came crashing down. To think that I could have been so wrong about you for all these years is a heavy burden to bear. I can't begin to express how deeply sorry I am, as is Lisa. We both realize now the extent of the manipulation and deceit that was carried out against you, and we are devastated by this fact. After sharing this revelation with Mom and Dad, Dad started crying. Like really crying. I've never seen him cry before. I believe it's because he has been carrying around a lot of. My reply to Emily: I appreciate you taking the time to reach out to me, but I must be honest with you. The years of pain and hurt caused by the lies and manipulation by Mark and the betrayal by Dad have left deep scars that will never be truly healed. While I understand that you are now aware of the truth and are genuinely sorry for what has transpired, I find it difficult to simply forgive and forget. The betrayal and abandonment I experienced at the hands of my own family have left me with a sense of distrust and resentment that can never be overcome. The damage that has been done has impacted me in ways that you may never ever fully and truly understand, and the idea of trying to reconcile now feels like an insurmountable task. I have spent years in therapy trying to come to terms with the pain and deep trauma I endured, and I have worked hard to build a wonderful life for myself that does not rely on the presence or approval of those who turned their backs on me. While I am grateful for the apology and the newfound awareness of the truth, I do not feel compelled to rekindle a relationship that was built on lies, deception, and betrayal. Especially after all these years, I have found peace and closure in distancing myself from those who caused me harm, and I do not see the need to reopen old wounds in the name of reconciliation. While I believe in the power of forgiveness, that isn't something I can give. I wish you all the best in your life. I really do. But I must prioritize my emotional health and self-preservation above all else. I hope you can respect my decision and understand that the wounds of the past will take a lifetime to heal. I would appreciate if you pass this fact on to the others, and please don't reach out again. I must look to my future and not my past.